Hello, everybody.
Blake and I are really excited about this call tonight because we have a very special person on the call who's very near and dear to our heart. Let me just tell you a little something about this young lady. A lot of you already know who she is. She's kind of famous in Beachbody, I like to say. Blake and I met Charline Bucher at the founding coach meeting back in December 26, 2006. God, I can't believe that's like 8 years ago. And that's a long time ago. And when I met Charline and her husband Marty, there was just an instant connection with Charline because she is all heart and Southern girl through and through. And she may come across soft-spoken and a little shy, but she's got the heart of a lioness. And we had a good time meeting her at the founders meeting, and Blake and I just can't. We're just so excited to see how she's just thrown down with Beachbody, because when we met her, she was just like, I don't know if I can do this. Remember that ride on the van?
I do.
I don't know. Well, what's so cool about Charline's story and why Blake and I really wanted you all to be on this call tonight to hear from Charline, because I'm running a Coach Basics right now. Blake's running an Emerald to Diamond, and a lot of what's being talked about right here in the middle is time management. How do I do this with a full-time job? And I'm afraid, fear to talk to people. And Charline has mastered so much of those things. I mean, here's her before and after picture. She's lost 80 pounds. I believe she started with Slim and 6. And look at that beauty through and through. She worked her fanny off, got great results, had tremendous struggles she had to get through that were physical, that could have held the average person back from succeeding, but she stomped her way through and got her results. And because of that tenacity that she had with her fitness and her health, she was able to become a Beachbody coach. She's now a 9-star founding coach. She's been an elite coach 3 years in a row. She's served on the CAB Coach Advisory Board, which is a huge responsibility and also very much an accolade to her for her being a professional in our business. And now she's one of the newest inductees to the Millionaires Club. Congratulations. Woohoo! She also,
crazy.
Pardon? What's that?
No, go ahead. It's just crazy to me.
I know. You got to be pinching yourself. Well, and she also has her own team. It's called Team Coaches in Motion, which I love, and she has a really wonderful team growing there. And what Blake and I just love and admire so much about her, she's constantly striving to do better. She recently signed on with Darren Hardy for his High Performance Forum and probably put her feet to the fire. She's going to talk a little bit about that. And she's a mom of 2 boys. She's married to the love of her life, Marty. And, Blake, and like I said, Charline, Blake and I just can't tell you how much we love you, and we are so grateful to Beachbody for bringing you into our life and what you've taught us. And with that, everybody, I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to let Charline Bucher tell a little bit about her story and how she pulled it all together.
Oh, goodness. Well, again, thanks for having me on, you guys. And first, I just want to, thank everybody for getting on and even listening, to what I have to say. But, I run, a Coach Basics group, and this is something that a lot of people struggle with. And a lot of people struggle with is because, we struggle with time management, whether we're a Beachbody coach or not, right, Angie? I mean, if you're a human being, you struggle with it. So when I came into this, it wasn't something that, my personality, I was one of those fly-by-the-seat kind of people, and it had gotten me okay in life, I had made it that far in life. But I knew when I signed up to be a coach, and I thought, I want to do, what do I want to do with this? And I'm scared to death, like you said, because I had never, ever, ever really done anything like this before. I didn't know what the heck I was getting myself into. But I did know when I sat down, I thought, I'm going to have to change some things as far as my time management if I really want to do this. Because Marty and I had just gotten married, we've been married about a couple of years when this the opportunity was brought to us. I had 2 young boys that were busy. And I literally, this is no exaggeration, I worked 10 to 15 hours a day at my job. So, and it was one of those jobs where I worked at an aeronautics company, so they monitored everything you did, so you couldn't get online, you know, and this is pre-Facebook. And they monitored everything. I couldn't use the phone. They monitored the phone. So I literally, you know, I thought, I don't know how the heck I'm going to do this business and not sacrifice, you know, my entire family and make a go of this. So, and some of you guys may not be in that situation, but I know a lot of you guys might be, and it may not be the exact situation. You probably have other things going on. But that was where I was. And so for me, I was like, okay, what is the first thing, you know, what is the first thing that I can do? So, you know, what I encourage you guys to do is kind of look at what is going on in your life right now. And first of all, you need to evaluate, what do you really want with this business? I mean, is it something you really want to work really hard for right now so that you can earn a little bit of freedom later on? I mean, is that, you know, or is this just going to be kind of a hobby for you? And that's okay. Whatever it is, you need to know what that is. I don't know. Nobody can tell you what that is. You need to figure it out. For me, I wanted out of my job. I made really good money. It was not the job in itself, but it was the environment that I was in. It was very stressful, and I did not want to be in that environment any longer. And I knew the only way out was to create that out. So I thought, you know, I thought it's something that I'm going to have to sit and really evaluate. So I did. I thought, okay, yes, I want to do this. So I encourage you guys to kind of sit down and self-evaluate with that too. And then I looked at everything that was going on in my life. And honestly, all that was going on in my life at that time was work, come home, take care of the kids. If I was able to, they had sports and things going on the weekends. And so I was, you know, on the weekends I was doing sports and just busy on the weekends, you know, trying to catch up with my family that I hadn't seen all week. So I thought, oh my gosh, you know, how am I going to do this? So, but I did. I sat down and I really wrote out, I'm like, okay, I have to be at work at 6:30 a.m. and I may or may not be home. You know, I might get home at 5:30 or I might be home at 9 or 10. But this is what I got to work with. I have my drive time and I've got my lunch time, you know, which was only 45 minutes. And I couldn't sit at my desk and use my desk because I couldn't use my computer. I couldn't use that phone. I had to go sit in my car, which was about a mile from my office. So I had to go. Anyway, long story short, I evaluated where I could build my business. And, you know, a lot of people, they're just not, you know, you have to, again, you've got to really evaluate what do you want to do with your life. So look in your life. Where are some times, even if it's 10 to 15 minutes, where are those times that you could use to schedule a phone call or schedule a follow-up or listen to something? I mean, I didn't listen to anything but personal development or something on the way to and from work. I didn't listen to music anymore. It was all personal development. It was all books on tape. It was something positive, trying to change my mindset. And then in those other times, I was learning more about the product. I was learning more about our industry. I didn't know anything about network marketing, so I had to really get a grasp on network marketing and embrace that part of it. So, I mean, Angie, that's really, you know, and
on top of
a lot of
learning the back office, learning.
Yes. Yeah, learning all
just like
the
everybody that's on this call right now, right? You had to learn just like all the new people.
Well, yeah, and we didn't have Facebook and all that other stuff. We had to learn all that too, you know. That was all new to us, just like it is for a lot of people coming in. So, but you just have to, you know, a lot of people say, well, it's all or nothing. You know, if I can't work this business, you know, 2 or 3 hours a day, I can't do it. And that's not true. I literally worked my business 10 and 15 minutes at a time when I started. Because here's the honest truth. When you first start out as a coach, you don't have to put in 2 to 3 hours a day, because you're just getting started. You just need to put in whatever time you can. And then as your business grows, you know, your time is probably going to be more demanding, but you're going to want to spend more time, but you're also going to be more efficient at your time. and you're going to get really good, at finding the time. And then one day you're going to get to make a choice like I did, that you're going to get rid of that other, and so that you can do something that you love.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. You picked time to make phone calls. You picked times to make follow-up phone calls. You weren't doing busy work. You weren't designing a business card. You weren't organizing your office. Again, we didn't have Facebook.
No.
You weren't, you were doing what Blake calls revenue-generating activities.
Yes, absolutely. Every day on my way home. Now, my drive to work, because it was so early, and don't forget, being healthy and fit is part of our business. So this girl got up at 3:45 a.m. every morning to get her P90X workout in, so that I could get up and then get my kids ready and get them to the daycare and my butt to work by 6:30. So that was my routine, and I didn't like it, but I did it because that's what I had to do.
And you did that for 15 months, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I did that, and yes, I did.
What time did you go to bed?
I would probably go to bed if I was lucky. I mean, as soon as my head hit the pillow, I was asleep. But I would probably go to bed around 10 o'clock, 9 or 10 o'clock. I mean, I was dead to the world by then. So, but I knew I was going to have to get up at 3:45, And I had a lot of people, they knew I was going. I go to bed early, That's just what I do. I didn't. Now, when I got home, I will tell you this: if I got home and I had some follow-up emails, and I had some things that I could do, there were times that I did stay up and I lost a little bit of sleep. But to me, I knew that I needed to do that to build my business, because I knew it wasn't going to be forever. I knew if I put the time in then that I was going to buy my freedom. I was going to earn more time. You know what I mean? So I was willing to sacrifice a little bit of that in the beginning. I'll say a lot of it, but I was willing to do that. And I look back now and I think, was it worth it? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I would do it 10 times over. I mean, I wish I could tell people how much it was worth it. I mean, there are some non-negotiables. I mean, we've got things to do with your family, but there are some things that, you may do that you can cut out, because we tend to fill our schedule up with so much stuff. So you may, I had a friend who played softball. She loved to play softball, and she decided to give up softball so she could work this, and it wasn't something that she wanted to do, because that was the only thing she really loved to do, but she did and was able. Now she gets to play it anytime she wants to. So just one of those things, you just have to make a decision. But like Angie said, it wasn't busy work. So on the way I would listen because it was so early. I would listen to personal development or something, and then on the way home, I had scheduled calls. So I had my headphone on and I would, for my 45-minute drive in traffic home, I was on phone calls talking to either new coaches, getting them started, because we didn't have Coach Basics. We didn't have all of that stuff back then. We had to walk everybody through every single step back then. So I was either on on the phone call, or following up with somebody, or something on the phone on my way home, because I knew as soon as I got home, it was going to be kids and dinner and, whatever else, catching up, and then I was going to be back on that computer again. But that was the times that I chose. And in 15 months, because I did it very, very part-time, and I still went to my job, I still did my job, I still did what I had to do, worked my business, a little bit here and there, I was able to then finally say, you know what, I'm walking away from that full-time or that career to go pursue this. And it has, it's been the best thing ever. And here's something else. A lot of people think, well, you're a founding coach. It's easy for you. I want to, one of the things that I tell people is that just because I was a founding coach, just because we're founders doesn't mean we didn't have to build our business. I didn't know anybody. I mean, literally, I started with my sister and a friend of mine who, when I first asked him to be a coach, told me no flat out. And he's like, no, if it's network marketing, I'm not going to do it. And I started to walk out of his office because he intimidated me, because he was a senior manager type, but he had become a friend. I almost walked out and said, okay. And I turned around. I had done enough personal development on my way to work that I got some guts, I guess, because I turned around and I was like, you're not going to tell me no until I at least share what it is. And then you can tell me no, but don't say no before you know what it is. And I was able to share it with him, and I probably butchered it to pieces, but he ended up signing up anyway. So he ended up being my second coach, which started the Customer Lead program, which helped me start my business. So,
and that addresses the whole fear factor that we talked about the other day in Coach Basics. And, you know, I just, again, you know, I want everybody who's listening to hear your voice saying, I was scared, I butchered it, but you're still alive and standing. You didn't bleed out.
No.
You lived another day to tell the story again, right?
Yep, no, and I've had lots and lots of practice butchering a lot of things and messing a lot of stuff up, but you know what, now it's kind of fun. I just kind of laugh at myself now. I still mess stuff up, you know. I'm just me. I'm just a regular everyday person. I've just worked really hard on personal development, and I've just really talked to a lot of people. You know, I just have learned how to talk to people, and that was something, and when I very first started, I didn't think I was going to be able to do, because I didn't really want to have to talk to people. No, I
kind of had to drag stuff out of you when I first met you, but I was persistent.
Oh, yeah. I was what people thought were shy, but I really wasn't. Anyway.
Well, as I said, you may be soft-spoken, but you're a tigress at heart, and don't you find the more you talk about what we do, that you just shine. You just feel it shining from the inside out. And I think the more people see, that's I mentioned today in our Coach Basics, that you know, the more you fall down and the more mistakes you make, the more you talk, the more comfortable you get, and then the more you start to shine, because you're selling yourself all over again on why you're so excited about what you're doing. Do you find that too?
Right. Oh, absolutely. You know, absolutely. And you know, and you do build your confidence up, even when you make the mistakes, especially in the beginning. You might as well face it. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to be scared. We all were. We all are. We all still are. But the thing is the more you do it, your confidence is going to build up. And there is no denying this is the most incredible company. We have such a great mission and vision. And, you know, to be aligned with something like this and be able to then earn an income to be able to help your family and help other people out of certain situations. I mean, my history, I don't know a lot of people know this. I started this when I was, you know, doing okay, but just a few years prior to that, I was, you know, divorced and bankrupt and foreclosure and homeless. I had to move back in with my mom with my two babies. I was a mess. So it wasn't like I had this history of great success coming into this. So
you had to earn it.
I had to earn it. I had a lot of stuff to overcome myself personally, mentally, you know, and every other thing. But it's worth it, you know. It's worth it. And when you start out as a coach and you get those no's, or you have somebody sign up and you think that they're going to be great and they don't, you know, they don't do what you thought they were going to do, you know, you've got to be strong enough to realize that this is a long-term thing. You got to go out and just keep talking to people, because this is the best thing. I mean, it really honestly is. It's just incredible what we have an opportunity to do for and with people. So.
Well, I think the other thing too, that, you know, so here you are, you're married, you've got your kids, you're working 12 to 15-hour days, and also I remember, you know, Marty was supportive of you doing the business, but he did not, if I recall, he didn't help one bit. This is 100% Charline Bucher.
Yes.
While you have other things going on, so that's what was really impressed with me about what you were able to do in these little 15-minute chunks, and you know, so that's a huge part of your story.
Well, yeah, and I sometimes, you know, forget to talk about that, because we do have a lot of people, either their spouses are supportive or they're not supportive, or, you know, they support them or not involved, you know, all of that, all the different scenarios, and that's true. Marty went to the meeting with me, the founders meeting, but was like, you know what, that's great for you. You go do that, pat me on the head, and have fun with that. I mean, honestly, that's kind of it wasn't like, and I don't want to say he was making fun of it in the beginning, but he was kind of, you know, like, okay, this is just her thing. You know, she's going to go do this thing. It's going to keep her happy, whatever, you know. It wasn't too long before he was like, I think I need to sign up as a coach. So he did finally sign up as a coach like 7 months later. And of course, he saw the income. He was like, "Oh, wait a minute, this is kind of serious." So,
and didn't you also win $10,000 for your transformation story too? I forgot to mention that. Darn it.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I did, and so it was worth getting up at 3:45 a.m. to get that P90X workout in. But yeah, I did, and that was a total shock. I didn't know I was going to win that. That was a blessing.
Definitely well earned. Well, how did you roll into Darren Hardy? You know, Blake and I did a year mentorship with Eric Worre, and we just loved working with him, and we love Darren Hardy too. I mean, he's been kind of a fixture in Beachbody off and on. So what's the high performance for him? I mean, I know you said you're still trying to get your mind wrapped around everything, but are there a couple of nuggets you could share with everybody that might help them while they're going through Coach Basics and the Emerald to Diamond training?
Well, if you guys don't know who he is, of course, we got a Success tab in the back office, but Darren Hardy is this guy gets to sit down with the top of the top of the top and is successful entrepreneurs, people who own businesses, and just, from, the Bill Gates all the way from the little guy who nobody knew, who just, created this, incredible something out of nothing. And he sits down and he just grills them. What did it take? And so he takes all of that. So the High Performance Forum is basically all the stuff that he's learned from all of these successful people, and he compacts it into this 3-day training. That's what we went to. And the particular one we went to, it was for $1 million earners and above. There was only 25 of us in there, and so it was very intense and very I was a little nervous walking into there, because some of these people, but it was really a neat thing to take your business to the next level. But he takes, and just teaches, and he's so good because it's so simple and he just lays it out. So I don't know if you guys have an opportunity. He has, programs and things that you can do.
The compound effect is awesome.
Well, the compound effect, I have all of my brand new coaches, all my coaches that go through Coach Basics, they are reading that book. That's the book that they have to read. It's just an awesome book. And then he has study courses. He has I think it's called the Insanity Productivity, which would help with time management. And he really teaches you how to take the time that you have and how to schedule income producing activities. And that's one of the things that we took away from it was, how do you not, when you're a full-time coach or a part-time coach, how do you not get distracted? How do you stick to the income producing? And he taught that. He teaches 90-minute windows of what I call them jam sessions, where you don't get distracted. You know what you're going to do in that 90 minutes, and you put a timer up and you go kill it, whether you're making phone calls, you're doing follow-ups, you're making new contacts, you're getting new followers on Instagram, whatever you have set for that time, whether it's 15 minutes, 45 minutes, 90 minutes, you don't do anything else. Then when you're done, you take a break and you go do other stuff. You go, go for a run or read or sit and stare out the window. It doesn't matter so anyway, it was just, Darren Hardy just really, for me, breaks it down to understandable, and I just admire and respect him because of the content that he has. Eric Worre is another one. He's just good. You know what I'm saying? He's really good at breaking it down and making the person like me be able to understand what he's trying to say. So,
well, how exciting we have both of them at Summit this year.
I know, and that's what
so I hope everybody on the call is going to Summit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm just like, this is going to be crazy. Yeah, crazy good. It's good. I highly recommend you guys follow both Eric and Darren. So.
Well, I know you've got to get onto another call, but what I'd like to find out from you is how do you, just to kind of close it up, and how important are events like Super Saturdays and Summit and leadership, getting to the point where you get to leadership? Because I know we have a lot of new coaches on right now, and they keep hearing it from me and Blake, but we're mom and dad, right? Yeah. So it's nice for them to hear from other people the impact of these events, and I just thought if you could share a little bit how it's impacted you and your business and your team.
Well, Yeah, well, I can tell you that getting to an event, like especially Super Saturdays or something like that, my husband.
That's your timer.
Yeah, no, my son-in-law is kind of calling his dad. But anyway, getting to an event, the events are great. You get good content. They all, especially like Super Saturdays, of course, Summit. I mean, if you've got to be at Summit. But getting to an event and being able to get around the energy in the room, and then the side conversations that you're either involved in or that you overhear, you can't even put a price tag, because those are usually when the ideas come. When you're in the energy of the room and you've got so much excitement going on, you're going to get something that you would not have gotten. The creativity, the answer that you've been looking for, the contact, or the connection that you were trying to make, whatever that is, are usually happen at these events. So even if it's just the energy of learning, just getting the energy, and to keep yourself pumped up. Especially in the beginning, because you see all the success stories. I know for me, I would be just like, I can do that. If that person can do that, I can do it. And it just gave me hope, that one of these days I'm going, and I know from my team that the ones that move up, I remember them saying, I remember being there and I heard you and I thought one of these days I'm going to be up there. I'm going to be up there speaking and sharing my story. And that was their goal. And anyway, I could go on and on. I'm sorry.
No, gosh, that's what I want everybody to hear. I want them to hear. I mean, because, we're not pushing people to get to Summit so we can have a big group there.
Oh, my God.
We want you to experience what we've gotten out of it, right?
Yeah. There's no word to experience. Yeah.
Exactly. Blake and I had a defining moment last Summit when we were sitting in the very front, and when we started in this profession, we were in the way back, and we both turned around and we went, wow, look how far we've come in 8 years, and like you said, is it worth it? And Blake, how do you phrase that when you say you do that little bit of work? Can you share that with everybody? Because I love it. And Charline, you're going to love how he words this.
What's that?
When you talk about, when you start your business.
Oh, Bill Walsh.
Yeah.
Oh, he says basically when you start your network marketing business, it says you pay full price up front, basically is what you're saying, because you're working a lot harder than what you're getting paid for. So he says you pay full price up front, meaning that you work your butt off and get paid very much money, and then eventually it flips the other way around, and then you get all the time, all the time, but you get more time freedom, and then the money's obviously a lot better. So, I think,
and that's so true. And that is so true. Yeah. No, Blake, I mean, exactly. In the beginning, you feel like you're working for nothing sometimes, but it's not true if you keep going. And you're really not just messing around and if you're really doing the right activities, sticking to the basics and really doing the core activities, and you stick to it, it does. One day it just flips. It just flips. I mean, it's just, and people kept telling me that. And I was like, okay, I want to keep going then. Are you kidding me? Okay, I'm going to keep going. They promised it was going to, and it did, and it's like, okay, all right.
Yeah, well,
they didn't lie to me. They were telling the truth.
Yeah, we would never lie to you. Well, and it was exciting today. People posted today on Coach Basics that they got checks today for the first time, and it just made me tear up. I was so excited for them, because I remember when we got our first little check, and it was little.
Oh yeah, our little it was, but we were excited because it worked. Here's the thing: it's proof that it works. It works.
That's right.
You just got to build it up. So.
Yep. Well, with that, everybody, Charline, I want you to be able to get on your next call, and we just want to honor your time, and thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Like I said, Charline is so near and dear to our heart, and I've learned so much from her myself. I mean, when we first started, I didn't know boo about a lot of the fitness, and so she was, never turned me away for help, when I needed help. And that's what I love about our profession, is you link arms with wonderful people and you build amazing friendships that will last a lifetime.
Oh, I feel the same way. Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, we appreciate it very much, and we got this recorded, hopefully, and if it renders properly, and we'll share that with Charline and everybody.
Yeah.
I think this is going to help a lot of people when they see that somebody can be so very, very, very part-time and, have tremendous success after 15 months. For some people, they want their success in 30 days,
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Charline.
All right. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a great night.
Okay, Charline. Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, everybody, have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. Good night, everybody.